Former President Trump is set to speak in Las Vegas at 3 p.m. Eastern today, so you're going to want to stick around for that. We are awaiting his remarks after Vice President Kamala Harris officially accepted the Democratic nomination last night, as we all watched. She packed more than a few jabs at Trump into her speech. More than a dozen, I should be saying. And the former president called her out on his Truth Social platform for all the details she, quote, didn't mention. Peter Doocy is live in Chicago with the very latest. Hey, Peter.
And, Julie, in many ways, before 100,000 balloons fell from the ceiling at the United Center, the vice president's remarks aimed to frame the race as though Donald Trump is the current president.
With this election, our nation with this election has a precious, fleeting opportunity to move past the bitterness, cynicism, and divisive battles of the past, a chance to chart a new way forward.
Harris did not talk about how she will pay for her plans, and she never touched on the proposal we confirmed earlier this week, raising the corporate tax rate to 28%. But she did go over some very broad outlines of an economic platform.
Instead of a Trump tax hike, we will pass a middle-class tax cut that will benefit more than 100 million Americans. We will create what I call an opportunity economy where everyone has the chance to compete and a chance to succeed.
Ultimately, the DNC did not cave to pressure from outsiders, including the UAW, to include a pro-Palestinian speaker on stage. The Harris team can now look ahead to a debate with Trump mid-September, but her next big nationally televised event should be the interview she has promised to do by the end of this month.
Madam Vice President, hi. Congratulations. Good to see you. Are you ready for your Fox News interview? Good to see you, man.
I'm working towards it.
Harris is still here in Chicago. The campaign is not tipping their hand about electoral strategy because they have not yet announced which battleground states she will visit next. Julie.
All right, Peter, thank you so much. So basically, she talked about how she's going to lower taxes, Emily, for the middle class, rather than what she claims Trump was going to do, which was raise taxes. I don't believe that that is part of Trump's plan. But we don't know what Kamala Harris's plan is. She didn't mention inflation because you know this White House never utters the word inflation. Never. And so now she's got no plan, but yet she's attacking Trump's plan. Where is her plan? When are we going to see it?
I would love to know. Number one, she is proposing tax hikes on unrealized capital gains, which is absolutely ridiculous. Number two, inflation itself is a massive form of tax, especially on the lower class and the middle class. Number three, she hasn't defined the middle class. In fact, part of the issue throughout the Biden-Harris presidency is that there has been no definition of the middle class. So that is why people who have jobs and who have assets are still unable to pay their bills. And yet hear from the president and vice president, nothing to see here, you're just fine. I note that in all of this amorphous policies, this is someone who already ran for president years ago. So if anything, shouldn't have there been a plan or policy back then? Clearly there wasn't. She calls President Trump an unserious man. And yet this is the candidate that is unserious altogether, that relies on vibes and hyena laughing to persuade us that what we see in our bank accounts and on the streets and the safety that we feel and the drugs infiltrating our families and everything, that there's nothing to see here. So I call to them when they say that President Trump is darkness and portends the future of the threat of democracies at stake. Nothing is more that than Kamala Harris.
Tommy, I love that Trump basically said that she is not, in a position where she could possibly make change now. I mean, she could make change. He points out that she's got months to actually enact some sort of policy, such as the immigration mess that she has done nothing as the czar of the, of the border. So she's got months to prove that. He's like, why is she complaining about things that she's had the power to change and she has not done any change? She's done nothing.
What I noticed last night in the first few seconds of Kamala's speech is that she thanked Joe Biden, the obligatory thanking of Joe Biden, but she was very careful to talk about his record. His record is going to be remembered in history and his legacy. That's the Biden-Harris administration. But it's strategic for her campaign to place everything bad on Joe Biden, throw him out like yesterday's trash, and she's this new candidate. She's been rebranded, she's been repackaged, but very careful to say, your record, Joe. So she has, to this point, been able to make herself appear like she's this new person. Democrats, as many people have said, have been in charge for the better part of the last 20 years. So why have they not enacted all these great things they've talked about? There's a reason, again, that Donald Trump won in 2016 because people were sick of the Obama years. So I understand that they're still very popular figures in the Democrat Party, and they get a lot of applause lines, but people were still looking for a change in 2016, which is why they elected Donald Trump. And I think if they're given that same decision in 2024, they'll elect Donald Trump again.
Ari, Lee Zeldin tweeted this: Kamala Harris becomes the first candidate to become a major party presidential nominee without receiving even a single vote, without putting even a single policy on a website, which remains. There are still no policies on her website, believe it or not, and without standing for even a single press conference or even sitting for even a single interview. This is unprecedented. I mean, she's making history. She's the first female nominee for president, but what she's really making history for is that she wasn't voted to be that person.
Yeah, and this is where I'll disagree with Lee. The fact that she did not receive a single vote does not matter.
Right.
And Republicans like to think it matters. The people who are going to vote and decide this election, they recognize her as the legitimate Democratic nominee. So Republicans should get off that talking point. The policy part is absolutely legitimate and real. I have never in my life seen a more scripted candidate because she flops and fails without a script. She's at the point, if you ever hear her say, hello, how are you to you, look over your shoulder. There was probably a teleprompter telling her to say it. Nothing she has done is extemporaneous. Nothing she has done is spontaneous, because we always know that results in word salad. But she can still win this race, and Donald Trump and his campaign better get better and better get serious. Stop with the communist stuff. Stop with the Marxist stuff. It's great for the base. It won't win the middle.
The first female presidential nominee, Hillary Clinton, in fact, did have policies. So, I mean, she's got Kamala there. As far as her policies, you know, she talked a lot about the border, which is actually, it's almost a shame. It's almost laughable that she can, in fact, talk about the border when she was the one assigned to fix it. But she also talks about being tough on crime, which is also laughable considering her work in California and her policies and laws that, in fact, allowed illegal immigrants back out on the street to reoffend and potentially kill people. So, crime and border, those are her two soft spots, and that's what she's going to campaign on?
Well, everything is a soft spot, right? I mean, she has to do this because she cannot deal with the reality, literally. It's not that she's dumb. This is a decision. This is a choice. The word salads also are distractions because it means that you don't have to deal with the reality. The crowd in that building throughout the convention, obviously not the average voter, are ready for it and willing to lift any kind of disbelief, to suspend the disbelief of what's happening, because they have such a low regard for the American people. They feel that they can gaslight you in this manner, and you will believe it. So this is where the Republicans' responsibility is on the issues, is make sure she's held to account. The media is obviously in her pocket, but make sure that Americans know where the Republicans stand, what she's responsible for. She's the incumbent. Last night and the entire convention was to erase that administration, make it as though Trump never left, and that she is the challenger. It is the ultimate fraud.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.